Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Lego Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about what it means to be running Dungeons and Dragons campaigns with Lego today, and what specifically we can do with Lego Dungeons and Dragons that is more expansive or simply couldn't even been done before, or how we do what we did previously and how Lego impacts that. And today specifically, I want to talk about SMOC, setting my own creation, right? So one of the things that we can do with Lego Dungeons and Dragons, there's lots of different ways to run Dungeons and Dragons, and I've discussed this, and I've discussed a few of the other ones, but today I want to talk about SMOC, which is setting my own creation. Lego click, Dungeons and Dragons click, SMOC, and let's talk about that. So what is SMOC? Setting my own creation. So first of all, MOC is a Lego acronym, and and Lego click, Dungeons and Dragons click. These communities are combining. These products are combining. They're no longer unique. They're no longer unmerged. They're no longer distinct products. They now share their future, right? Like Dungeons and Dragons is going to be a part of Lego's future forever, and Lego will be part of Dungeons and Dragons future forever. And both teams will be thinking about the other intellectual property when design choices are made, right? There'll never be another Lego castle set, right? Where the immediately the question doesn't come, well, do we just release this under Dungeons and Dragons, right? And so, and if we do a Lego medieval release, are we cutting out the Dungeons and Dragons, community? Or if we're, or if everything, if all the factions are now simply Dungeons and Dragons factions, what happens to the Black Ravens? That kind of thing. These are very big discussions. Let's talk about SMOC. Okay, so SMOC is you as a dungeon master, you as a Lego narrative builder, choosing to do your own setting, right? And so you're not running an existing Dungeons and Dragons setting, and you're not running any intellectual property. You are creating a setting that is unique to you, right? And I'll give you an example of this. So I'm a writer, right? And I've written 2 novels, and I write this channel. Like I do a lot of, I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, having a YouTube channel is writing, right? Especially if you do commentary, like it's writing. It's writing in a different way, but it's very much writing, right? And so, so what I think is really interesting is, so I've had this idea for years. I wanted to do a short story or a novel, and I've never done it, right? But I can spin these up much faster in Dungeons and Dragons, because you just need the structure, right? And you need a framework, and then you're literally putting your idea, your setting, in front of the players, and both the players and the math rocks are going to help you build, right? Which is really powerful. I love that aspect, and you build in real time, right? Like that's one of the most beautiful things about Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my gosh, a Dungeons and Dragons session is a writing session that is done live. And the ink is set. It, like, you are watching the ink dry and setting the next sentence, right? It's really powerful, right? So one of my ideas is the Abandoneers, right? And this is a modern setting, right? And it is a sorority at a university in Wisconsin, and this university has a specific sorority. They're very like, the sorority is very tight about who they bring in. It's a different sorority, it's a different type of sorority, and what they are is they're called the Abandoneers. And what they do is, and the setting I've written is this started in the 1940s with this essentially with a sorority member girl who from a fantasy realm, a wizard needs help because, like, these monsters are invading his realm, and he needs help, right? And so he reaches out to another realm, and he reaches Earth, and he gets a hold of this sorority girl, right? He's able to to scry to her and communicate with her, and he says, you know, we need help, you know, send warriors, right? And you know, and we need people to help us keep these, you know, monsters out of our kingdom, right? So at that point, she's like, okay, we're going to do it, right? And so basically, they have, you know, an ROTC on their campus, and this sorority, they just steal all the weapons, right? And they bring modern weapons to aid this, you know, fantasy realm, right? And so they bring in grenades, machine guns, right? Like radios, right? Like, you know, all this equipment, and are able to push back these monsters and save this kingdom, right? And that was it starts in the 1940s, and now these girls they go by the name the Abandoneers, and what they do is they find abandoned buildings, and to this day there's a relationship between the wizards and the sorority, and this sorority now has their own weapons cache, right, and their own trained warriors, and they aid this other fantasy realm whenever they need aid, and they do it by bringing, you know, modern weapons that this other fantasy realm has never seen. And they're called the Abandoneers because the portals that the wizard sets up on their side, he can open them up in these abandoned buildings, right? And the Abandoneers just like secure, you know, abandoned buildings around their area, and then every quarter, every 6 months, go and aid this, you know, this realm. But of course, also magic items start coming back from that realm into their world, right? And how do the girls use those, and you know, when girls graduate, what do they do with these magic items they have? And so, you know, it's a SMOC. It's a setting of my own creation, right? And so that's one of the things that I'm very interested in running with Legos, right? But there's other ones, like for instance, we just got the 3-body problem. That's a licensed property, right? It's based on a book, but you, as a dungeon master, as a Lego narrative builder, right, can create a third, a first contact story. What do the aliens look like? Is there peace or is there war? Where do they come down? Who do the aliens think the leaders of Earth are? How does that react? You know, how does that interaction go? And that's a setting of my own creation. It's you're creating it, right? And this is really unique. And the thing is, now this is going to be very difficult because, like, you know, with Dungeons and Dragons, we literally have Dungeons and Dragons Legos, right? And we also have Castle, and we have Medieval. We have, you know, even City has elements that are easily incorporated into Dungeons and Dragons. But with these other stories, right, you're going to have to look deeper into Lego. But there is also this opportunity, and we're just at the start of this, right, where you can build some dramatically incredible things with Lego. And there's this idea of representative minis. And before I even went to Legos, I was using just like blank dice squares, you know, as, you know, to make borders or to be miniatures. And I'm like, these yellow cubes are the wolves, these white cubes are you know, the goblins, right? You know, and Lego can do this dramatically better. Differentiating representative minis with Legos is very it's not easy at all because there's so many options, right? But it is powerful. It's extremely powerful. So I'm very excited about SMOC, settings of my own creation, you know, for you, for me. And this is something that we can do with Lego. And I wanted to start with Lego Dungeons and Dragons. And I wanted to start this conversation because each one of these, believe it or not, every single one of these different types of campaigns that we can run with Lego, there's going to be forums, there's going to be channels dedicated to this as we build out the Lego Dungeons and Dragons future. So I really wanted to say thank you for letting me share this idea with you. The Lego Click Dungeons and Dragons Click SMOC, setting of my own creation, setting my own creation. And it's really incredibly powerful and just a really unique, cool thing. And I'm so excited about this new Lego Dungeons and Dragons future, and I'm excited to share it with you. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.